agree to coffee dates. Like,
why not? I don't know you. What's wrong with coffee?
Look, men value what they invest in. What they invest in terms of time, money. A man's hat is where his money is. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I think 29 was my minimum, and my man was 29 at the time.
You put 29 to 59 or what?
No, I had like 29 to probably like 45 or something.
I like 60.
No.
I'm too young.
Yeah. No, I said... Yeah, when I know, babe.
I may be young, but I'm ready to give you all my love.
You ready?
Yep.
All right. You gotta move over this way a little bit, just a little bit. Ah, there you go. Who thought we'd ever be doing this? Okay. Alright. Hi you guys, welcome to my channel. It's Michelle Amaray, and if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. So today I have a super special video for you guys. Y'all, I begged for months. And I didn't want to like pressure him, you know, because like, you know, I just wanted to respect my man. But he finally agreed to do a video with me, and what perfect way than to talk about how we met and give you guys some tips on dating apps. So if you're interested in all of that, stay tuned. All right, so let's go ahead and like say, I mean, you guys already saw the title of this video. So we met on...
You tell him.
Bumble! We met on Bumble, you guys. We met on Bumble. Yep. So to start things off, I did ask you guys on my Instagram. A couple of you guys gave some questions and stuff and pointers that you wanted to know about while using dating apps. So we're gonna go ahead and answer those while giving our how we met story. So I guess how we can kind of start things off is just like talking about how we even got to dating apps and why we even decided to be on there and all that kind of stuff. So babe, what like brought you to using the dating apps? Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a new day and age. I think it's, you know, a new time of dating. So I think dating apps are a great way to meet people. You know, if it's Instagram or Facebook and then dating apps. So I think, you know, if you are intentional and you know what you're looking for, I think it's a great, you know, place to meet people. So I was mingling in a few different apps and was on Bumble, Hinge, and those are the two main ones. So I think Bumble has a nice selection of women, so.
Yep, because you found me.
Yep.
So yeah, for me, I started using dating apps when I was an undergrad because I was like, there's no way I'm limited to the men on my campus. Like, I just couldn't do it. I wanted to increase my dating pool and the people that I could interact with. And dating apps are a really great way to do that. I feel like dating apps get a lot of bad rep just because people kind of feel like, oh, you're super desperate if you have to go on a dating app. Why can't you meet people in person? Well, first of all, we're in a pakrumo, so that's difficult to be able to go out and meet people and stuff like that. And then on top of that, sometimes you don't want to just limit yourself to your social circle.
Right.
So if you want to branch out and maximize your options, dating apps are a really great way for you to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to meet, because if it wasn't for Bumble, we wouldn't have met. We're in two different age groups, two different social groups. Like, we literally don't even have like literally any mutuals in common. So there's no way we would have probably met realistically.
Yeah, I think there's a big myth that there's not really any, you know, quality women on dating apps, and that's really not true. I think you have to maybe kiss a few frogs to get to a quality woman, but they are out there.
All right, so the next topic we're gonna speak on are just like kind of things that we were looking for on dating apps and like just kind of the strategies we use to maximize the quality of people we met. Do you wanna go first?
Sure. So for me, like one thing I've looked for is, does she seem like she has a good head on her shoulders? Does she seem like I can bring her home to my parents? You know, are all her pictures like really, you know, out there, like no clothes on, or is she like, you know, kind of conservative?
That's true. That's how you are. And I will go ahead and say like, oh, let me answer the question first. For me, what I was looking for was a professional man. Like, I knew how I wanted to date and the kind of man that I wanted to date and stuff. And so I wasn't gonna go swipe right on a person who had pictures of him in the club, bottles up and stuff, or around so many girls on a yacht or something like that. Like, I was looking for a professional man who looked grounded and stuff. And so actually my man's first picture on his Bumble profile was his like job picture, like his professional headshot.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, okay. So automatically that tells me, you know, what he's leading with in terms of like the dating pool and how he's presenting himself. And that's important to me. So that was definitely something that definitely gravitated me towards his profile and ultimately caused me to swipe right. Anyway, from what I remember from his bio, my man had it said like, oh, he enjoys traveling and stuff, which is something that I enjoy. But he was like, I don't want any ratchets.
I didn't say that. I said I'm allergic to ratchets. But
yeah, like that makes it better.
I mean, I am allergic. I break out in hives with ratchets, so I can't deal with that. So, I mean, I like classy women. I like upscale women. And, you know, ratchetness, I break out. So I can't deal.
So that was something that I saw and I thought it was funny, you know, like it was a funny way to phrase it. But, you know, basically essentially what he was saying was that he wanted a woman who had class. For a man to desire that quality in a woman, let me know the kind of man he was. So that was definitely something that drew me closer to him and made me feel like, you know, this is definitely somebody I could get along with.
Right. Yeah, I think that with her, you know, I can tell that she was different. I'm not just saying that, but, you know, she looked like she really had her head on straight. And, you know, a lot of girls on dating apps, it's hard to find quality women. And, you know, I think with Michelle, she definitely had the whole package just from her profile. So I was really looking forward to our first date when I noticed we matched.
Right. And I'll go ahead and give some pointers on like my profile. I'll show you guys on the screen like how my profile looked. I don't mind sharing that. But I said that like I enjoy things like international, wait, what did I say? Yeah, so my bio was pretty simple to the point. Now I'll be honest, modesty is definitely something that I'm trying to do better at, especially like venturing into this new chapter in my life with just presenting more as like a classy woman and a more modest woman. I think that's important. But in my pictures, I made sure to try to minimize the skin, like have more pictures that exuded the kind of man that I wanted. So I think it's important while you're on these apps to ask yourself, what do I want and does my type want me? Right. And how do I present myself in a manner that is attractive to my type? And that's really all what it comes down to.
Yeah, one thing I noticed was that she really liked to travel. I saw pictures where she was in Vietnam or was that Thailand or
Thailand, Cambodia.
Cambodia. She was somewhere out the country, and I noticed that was pretty nice that she was a traveler and she did solo traveling. That lets me know that she doesn't mind, you know, doing things by herself. She's not a follower. She does things, you know, on her own, and that was a really attractive trait that I noticed. So I think I also like to travel, and I was like, oh, we have that in common.
All right, so what are your biggest red flags when it comes to dating profiles and what causes you to just swipe left?
I think people that use fake pictures, I mean, catfishing is real. People do catfish. People use other people's pictures. They might use a lot of filters. I think that's a red flag.
Yeah.
I like to see girls that are in their natural setting. If I notice that she has a lot of filters or very few pictures of her just being herself, that's a red flag. Some filters, you know, really make them look one way. And you meet them in person and you're like, who's this? So
my man's been catfished before.
I've been catfished, and it's not a good feeling. So I've been really careful on, you know, moving forward and just, you know, making sure that they are who they say they are. I think it's important to maybe FaceTime them or, you know, video call them, make sure that you're talking to the right person. But yeah, people are catfishing out here, so just gotta be extra careful and cautious about, you know, moving forward.
Yeah, and I also talked about the things that I didn't like because I was looking for more of a professional, provider-minded type man, traditional-minded man. I wasn't swiping right on men who were in the club, men who looked like they were just, you know, F-boys. And F-boys just have a kind of look to them. So I wasn't swiping right on that. Just because it's so easy to have all this access to so many different people, if you don't have a clear goal on what you want, it's so easy to get distracted and be like, oh, I know he looks like an F-boy, but he's super fine, he has a really nice body, let's see what that is. And that's how you end up getting into so many different issues and put yourself in heartache. So if you know you're somebody serious who wants something serious, make sure you keep that goal at the forefront of your mind and don't let certain looks and certain pictures and a certain vibe that a person gives off in their profile to cause you to get off track. All right, so the next question is like, how did you go about creating your bio? What did you choose and decide to include and all that kind of stuff?
Okay, yeah, I think I put a little bit about myself. I don't like to talk a lot about myself. I want to keep that air of mystery. It makes them kind of drawn into you a little bit more,
right.
So they want to get to know you a little bit more. So I didn't talk a lot about myself. I did say some jokes in my bio. Let them know that, I like to have fun. I like to joke around, but I am, I like to handle my business as well. So let them know that you're serious, and let them know what you're looking for. And so I think if they can, relate to that, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to swipe right on you and hopefully, kick it off with messaging and exchange the numbers or whatever.
Right. I think that's super important, especially like as a woman, that level of mystery and just trying to kind of draw that person in for them to get to know more about you. That's really important. So you don't want to just go ahead and like spill the beans, but you want to go ahead and like kind of give hints and put really interesting things in your bio that's going to make somebody want to swipe right and learn more about it. Now, I do want to talk about the feature on Bumble specifically where it asks you like, what are you looking for? Like, are you looking for a serious relationship? Just kind of, you're not sure, that type of thing. Because we actually had different things on our profile. So I said I was undecided, unsure. I didn't know what I was looking for. And you had?
I was looking for something serious, right?
Yeah, you had, yeah.
And you had that you didn't know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And I think, she had that, I think deep down she knew what she was looking for, but she put that on there as like a defense mechanism for guys that she wasn't really trying to deal with. So, I just took that and I ran with it. And I think as a man, you need to be sure that you are intentional and that you do know what you're looking for. And so that way, when you find something that is what you're looking for, you're not thinking twice about cutting off other girls or really being intentional on the one you're focusing on. So I think once you find it, you're good to go.
Right. And normally I don't recommend lying and being deceitful and stuff on dating apps. Like I do hear some of the the level up communities and things that people talk about with don't let him know you have kids. And I don't agree with that kind of stuff, especially if you're on here dating intentionally and you want serious results. But I will say when it comes to the level of asking what you want in a relationship and stuff, I personally do not recommend as women stating that you want a serious relationship. And here's why. Especially with the society we live in and just like the dating scene right now, finding committed people who want a committed serious relationship is honestly pretty difficult. Yeah. Like it's what makes dating really difficult for especially somebody who wants something serious and wants something like a committed relationship. And the thing is, there are men out there who take advantage of that. And because they know that you want something serious, they'll pretend like they're on that wavelength. But as soon as they're able to hit it, they will quit it and leave. And it leaves you in a position where you're heartbroken, dealing with different issues and stuff like that. So I recommend as a woman, allow that man to lead and allow him to lead from the get-go. So on our first date, we actually talked about the reason why we had differences in like what we were looking for. And that was something of concern to my man. Like he was like, are you really serious? Like, I'm not here to play games. Like, I'm not trying to waste my time or your time, that kind of vibe. And it was really comforting for me to see that because it was like, all right, this is a man who's really intentional and is really looking for what he says he's looking for. And it gives me the security that I need to go ahead and let my guard down and really like fall into this like full force. So I would recommend not putting that you're looking for something serious on these dating apps, but that's my 2 cents.
Right. And I don't think men should be saying that you're looking for your wife, but just let them know that you are, intentionally dating. You're dating with a purpose. You're not just, looking for, situationships. You're looking for something serious. So, for me personally, like I knew after maybe 1 or 2 dates, if it wasn't going anywhere, then I'm like, all right, there's no point of me continuing this relationship if I don't see it ending anywhere like fruitful for my life. So I think if you know what you're looking for, let the girl know and be intentional about that and make sure you set the tone of the relationship as a man.
Right. Now, I do want to talk about like how to start or initiate the conversation because I know on Bumble specifically, the women lead. And I hated that aspect of it. I'm a traditional minded woman. I feel like if you want me, you come and talk to me. I don't believe in shooting my shot. I never have, never will, don't intend on doing so. So anyway, like with Bumble, how I kind of went about it was just saying like, hi.
Slide my DMs, slid my DMs.
I did not slide in your DMs. Bumble made me. But I just said hi with like a smiley face or something like that. Something cute, something simple. But, I want to see him. I want to see the kind of energy he's coming with. So as a woman, don't feel like you have to go and put the most slickest thing or the most, smooth. Like, that's for men. That's y'all's job to be thinking of creative ways to try and catch you. Just go ahead and put the, oh, hi, hello, smiley face, hats, whatever you like, and see see where he takes it from there.
took it.
He'll check out your profile. He'll say, "Oh, do I really like her?" And then he'll apply the pressure. He'll come with it. But you ain't gotta do that. You don't have to do too much.
Yeah, I think, on Bumble, I like that aspect. If the woman, initiates the conversation, that lets you know as a guy that she's really interested.
Right.
Because on other dating apps, a lot of guys have to shoot their shot first. And I'm sure a lot of women get, bombarded with messages. So it's kind of hard for the woman to kind of filter through those for the quality men. But on Bumble, if she messages you, you have a higher chance of it really succeeding because you know that she's really interested. So I think, when I saw her message, I was like, okay, I looked at her profile and said, wow, she's attractive. She looks like, she got her head on straight. And it took from there. I think we had some light banter, some jokes. And then from there, I think it's important to take things offline and get their number, exchange numbers, and get to know them in the real world, not just on the dating app itself.
Thank you. A dating app is just a vessel for meeting somebody.
Right.
You should not be dating on the app. Dating occurs outside the app, in reality, in restaurants, wherever you guys choose to go. That's the actual dating. It's just a means of meeting somebody. Literally, we were only on that dating app talking for like one night. Not even up to that. Like literally our whole conversation on Bumble was like maybe about 20 minutes. And then he asked me for my number and then we took it to text messaging. My man called me. I think he called me that same night and we had our first date the day right after.
Yeah.
So don't allow these men to have you on these dating apps talking and chatting your ear off for 3, 4, 5, up to a week plus. Don't do that. And if it is going up to that point and he's not making plans for you guys to go on your first date and to meet, and I'm not saying meet, come through to my apartment. That's somebody who's just looking for an F buddy. But if he's not making plans, making reservations, or whatever the case may be for you, let him go. He's trying to waste your time. Don't allow him to do that. So I think it's really important as a woman, if you know you're serious and have serious standards for yourself. Don't allow yourself to just be chatting with somebody all day like that. That's
Right.
ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's important for women to also be comfortable enough to actually give their numbers out to guys. If you feel like the conversation is going somewhere in the right direction,
Right.
definitely exchange numbers. Because I've came across women who were just comfortable chatting on the apps all day. And I'm like, all right, let's exchange numbers. And they're like, well, I just met you. Like, let's slow down. I'm like, look, I'm not going to be texting you on these apps for like months and months at a time. So if you don't even want to exchange numbers, then that's a problem. I'm not saying don't be safe, but just be careful. But if you feel the vibe is there, you guys have something going on, definitely exchange numbers and take things offline because you can't just be on the apps all day. That's not gonna work. I think it's important to transition into the real world as soon as possible.
Right. It's jobless, broke people that have time to be on these dating apps morning till night, just talking, chatting to different people. Like that to me screams like I have nothing to do with my life. Like this is just not to be super harsh, but I'm just saying these are just tools to use because there are people that I know who literally just be on these apps all day just talking to people just because they're bored. Don't be that person. If you're bored, find something to do.
Get a dog.
Get a dog.
Or a cat.
All right, so now I'm gonna move on to the question segments on things that you guys have sent in to me via Instagram. The first one is how to spot people giving fake info, like people lying about their kids, etc. I have my own experience on this.
She's like a whole FBI agent, so she will do a whole background check on you. So that was one of
my tips. Y'all, as soon as it starts getting serious and stuff, run a background check on him. Know what information is out there. Don't just stick to social media because some of these people don't have social medias like that, especially if you're dating a certain caliber of man. But, run a background check. See what the feds got on him. Like, that's important to know, especially if you're looking at something serious. That's important to do. Now, in terms of kids, a man of quality is going to let you know straight up. I have dated somebody that I met off of Bumble, actually, who had a kid. And, like, our first date, he let me know, and he was upfront with that. People will be upfront if they're a quality person, but you really only get to know that after some time and spending with them. Sometimes, you might find out too late, but that's why it's important to do your research and do as best as you can and just pray for the best. And another thing, people can be deceitful about their money and their financial standing and stuff like that. My personal thing is that, I feel like especially if you're like dating for marriage and dating for something more serious and stuff, and you're a woman who has a certain financial standard and stuff, it's not everything that glitters is gold. you know, social media pictures, this is all perceptions and stuff that people are putting out. But you really get to see the kind of person you're with through the time spent with them, through the level and depth and quality of the conversations you have with them. Like, that kind of stuff is really, really important. So take the time to really get to know a man. Don't just go based off of, you know, what he's showing. Look, I'm from Houston. 419 scammer type guys are everywhere, okay? So unless you're trying to be like his side team that helps with all his undercover 419 activities or whatever, like, take your time to really get to know somebody and see where that money's coming from. See if they're a quality man, an upstanding person with integrity. So that's really important. Now, the next question is navigating dating apps as like a Christian woman, especially if you have like, you know, certain standards or requirements in regards to abstaining from sex until marriage. Do you have any advice on that?
Nope.
All right, I have advice on that. I have a lot of, well, you know, as much advice that I can offer on this.
There's Christian Mingle.
There's Christian Mingle, yes. But I will say, don't think that, you know, Bumble and stuff like that are completely off limits. I think it's definitely going to be more difficult for you to find somebody, for sure. I mean, just with the society and the world we live in. But usually men who have those certain type of principles and values, like, you can kind of tell from their profile, or at least those are the types you want to swipe right on. So, you know, these profiles give you the option to say what your religion is and stuff like that. So I would swipe right on Christians. I'm not saying everybody that says Christian will believe and agrees with abstaining till sex, till marriage and stuff like that. You still have to kind of get to know them and stuff. But I would say, especially if you have certain non-negotiables like no sex before marriage, that's stuff you want to go ahead and talk about sooner than later, because you don't want to waste your time or their time. You're not there to be convinced to change your mind about things. They're not there to be convinced to change their minds on things. So definitely lead with that information and just, you know, be intentional from the get-go in how you navigate that dating relationship. All right, what are your favorite apps and stuff? And like, what are the apps to avoid?
I think everybody knows Tinder is kind of just for hookups or nothing serious, so I wouldn't recommend Tinder at all. I mainly use Bumble, and I use Hinge for a little bit. I think each of them has their pros and cons. I think on Bumble, like I mentioned earlier, how I like the fact that women have to initiate the conversation with the guy. That lets the guy know that she's actually really interested, and you know, that sets a good precedent for the relationship if it goes further. So I like that aspect of Bumble, that she has to you know, hit him up first. So that's a pro. On Hinge, I think personally Bumble has more attractive women. I mean, I'm not shallow, but just in my personal opinion, I think
That's not shallow.
I think, yeah, Bumble.
Got a standard.
I think Bumble, the women on Bumble I've met were a little more attractive. I'm not saying Hinge has, like, you know, just the bottom of the barrel, but in my opinion, the quality of women on Bumble was a little bit better. So you can, you know, dibble and dabble in both apps if you like, and see for yourself. But for me personally, I think Bumble had more quality women.
My personal favorite apps were definitely Bumble, obviously, and Hinge. I didn't use Hinge so much. I found Bumble to be a lot easier to use. Hinge just kind of had a learning curve for me. But at all costs, stay away from Tinder. I have so many horror stories from Tinder. I've met the worst men from Tinder. If you're looking for something serious and intentional, obviously Tinder is not the way to go. Now, I do want to speak on some other apps and some other platforms like What's Your Price, Seek an Arrangements, Luxy, and stuff like that for my girls who, you know, financial standard is really, really important and big to them. I would say be careful with those apps too, because there's a lot of people who come on there pretending. And then also think about it, like, people are going on those apps leading based off of financial standards. And I think the problem with that though is that sometimes it becomes more difficult to find people of quality and of substance when it comes to morals and values and things that really are important for the longevity of a strong and committed relationship. So if you know you're looking for something serious like marriage or something, and you also have a financial standard, maybe use Bumble, but use it by dating within a certain age bracket of men who tend to be a lot more established and men who tend to be at a really great place financially and career-wise.
Right, and I'll say for guys to set your preferences for the age, depending on the age you are, you know, I would say set it a little lower. A lot of women that are older, they might come with, I wouldn't say baggage, but, you know, a lot of more stuff you got to deal with. So they might have a child, They might have more, ex-boyfriends might have to navigate. So I think the younger the woman, the less baggage she might come with. So I think it's important to set your preference for your age to be a little bit lower than your age. And I think that'll increase your odds of getting someone of quality.
Right. And like I kept mine at a range. I think 29 was my minimum, and my man was 29 at the time.
You put 29 to 59 or what?
No, I had like 29 to probably like 45 or something.
I like 60.
No.
I'm too young.
Yeah. No, I said. Yeah. When babe, when I was dating you guys, my standard was like he had to at least be 30. And mind you, I was like maybe like 22, 23 at the time because, I just can't do men my age personally. My personal preference is like, 30 plus because they tend to be a lot more established and ready for commitment. All right, so our last question is how to know he's trying to hit it and quit, and what are some tips for gauging that? I can speak from a female perspective. Right off the bat, if he's saying things like come link up at my place or using that kind of terminology, cut it. Like that's just so childish, F-boy lingo type stuff. Let that go. If he's not putting effort into the first date, don't agree to coffee dates. Like,
why not? I don't know you. What's wrong with coffee?
Look, men value what they invest in. What they invest in terms of time, money. A man's hat is where his money is, and you cannot convince me otherwise. So if first date he's talking about let's go to Starbucks to meet up or let's go to Chipotle, block him. Keep it moving because that's not worth it. And let me tell you why, and I'll even use my man as an example, Sha. So he usually took girls to like a bar somewhere or something like that. Where'd you take him, dude?
So you can say a bar, yeah.
Yeah, like a bar, that type of like more casual, laid back type thing. My first date, my man took me, what is that place? What is it?
Seasons 52.
Seasons 52, okay? Like, it's not like Ruth's Chris or nothing, but it's definitely not something that you just pop up in some jeans and a t-shirt in or whatever. Like, he put in effort and he was like, look, I know you're different, so I'm not about to just take you to any type of nonsense date place. Like, I'm gonna, come correct for you. And he's not the first man who's done that to me after meeting me and, understanding the caliber of woman I am and realizing that I'm not gonna just treat this one anyhow and just take her anyhow. A man who sees your value and realizes that you are truly a dime piece and somebody of value, he's going to treat you accordingly. So if he's starting off telling you, let's go to Starbucks, tell him no thank you. Don't even respond, shot, block him, because that man doesn't see your value.
Really? I think with Michelle, I knew she was different, so that's why I didn't mind taking her to a nice restaurant. But on average, a lot of women might just want a free meal.
True.
So you can't be taking every woman to a 5-star restaurant because you will go broke really quickly. So I don't mind coffee shops. I don't mind walks in the park because I don't know you. You don't know me. Let's see where this goes. And if it goes anywhere, if it goes somewhere, then we can go to somewhere nice. Then we can increase the budget a little bit. But that first date, we need to go to Chipotle or maybe somewhere where I'm not coming out of pocket a lot of money. So I think it's important you don't want to set the tone of like you're trying to impress her, going to Ruth Chris or like, steak 48 on the first date because, she might just be wanting a free meal, eating the lobsters and shrimps and the steaks, and then you might not even see her after that. But I think if it's something that's going forward, then you guys can, kind of increase the budget and go to nicer places.
Anyway, Sha, my man is saying this, Abby, but mind you, first date, he took me to Sessions, okay? He didn't take me to Chipotle. He didn't take me to Starbucks. So please find you a man that sees value in you and wants to go ahead and treat you accordingly. The ones who want to go and put you on Starbucks first date, leave them to go. So yes, babe, you can say what you're saying, but at the end of the day, you did something completely different with me because you knew my values. So
you're different. I could tell.
Yeah, women, find men who view you like that too. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I think it's a numbers game, so you want to just be careful. I think for guys who are paying for the dates, it's really important. You aren't trying to expose yourself. You're not trying to impress her. If you take her to, somewhere really nice on the first date, she might expect that every date. So you don't want to set the tone of you're just trying to, buy her love or whatnot. So make sure it's something that you can afford and you're not trying to just live a fake lifestyle, but make sure you're being authentic and true to who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's everything I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment down below. If it's anything I can get his perspective, I'll ask him and I'll answer whatever. But I hope this video was very informative for you guys and eye-opening, and you learned a thing or two.
Yeah, well, thank you guys.
You want to close this out?
Bye.
Well, first of all, thank you for even doing my video with me.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye. Now you gotta take pictures, babe.
You a bad girl and your friends bad too. Oh, you got the swag, saucy drippin' swag, do. You a bad girl and your friends bad too.